Sources have told me that 2 youth congratulating the MGB fighters who eliminated the 2 residents of Silwan who launched fireworks and hit the MGB fighter during the Palestinian Authority in East Jerusalem. This is a clear message to the terrorists. Don't try us. Any attempt to hurt and harm at the same time as fighting in the South will be met with determined response and zero tolerance. Well done for warriors. Oh, it's done. It's over. Oh, it's already happening. This is a genocide. And remember, the West Bank is occupied, just like Gaza is. But the West Bank is technically supposed to be the peaceful collaborative effort between the Palestinian Authority and Israel. If this is Trump, wait, what? If this is Biden's doing, can Trump make it worse? No, this isn't. Biden is continuing Trump's policy. We have a singular, unified response on our foreign policy, and both Donald Trump's administration, which greatly accelerated the tensions, obviously, and the Biden administration that continued the same policy of like aligning with the Gulf nation states and not necessarily changing course on the treatment of Palestinians or trying to even remotely criticize Israel, even when they fucking killed an American journalist. A dual citizen, a Palestinian American journalist, was sniped, executed in broad daylight, if you remember, and I've covered this multiple times now, Shireen Abu Akleh, right? Am I saying her name right? And then the IDF came in to her funeral and beat the shit out of all of the people that were trying to mourn this loss. And the world looked, the world just stood aside and waited for people to forget.
Yeah. But what I saw, hundreds of terrorists with full arm, full gear, with all the equipment and all the ability, make a massacre, go from apartment to apartment, from room to room, and kill babies, mothers, fathers in their bedrooms.
You were telling me some of them, when you went in, their hands were tied together.
Some of them locked themselves in the protection rooms of the barn, their house, and people run out with their children and they kill them. They kill babies in the front of their parents and then kill the parents. They kill parents, and we found babies between the dogs and the family that killed before him. They cut head of the people.
And this is the first time. I mean, when did you?
Yeah, this is why I think. No, I don't think he's lying, man. Shut the fuck up, chat. What are you talking about? Like, listen, I don't trust the IDF at all, but this is, this is most likely real. Okay, calm the fuck down. The difference is, this is probably where the confusion comes from and how it spreads from, people were killed, some people were fucking beheaded, and babies were dead, to 40 babies were lined up and had their heads cut off, okay? That's the difference.
You secured this area here. It was late last night.
So we fight here, wave after wave of terrorists until last night.
And is this area here? We're looking at.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the dog get shot. Like, I know that part is real.
Is this completely clear? Can you be 100% sure no Hamas activists here?
I learned in the last 3 days that 100% it's not part of the game.
40 babies was their maternity ward? No, it's not. But that's what people are saying.
But we try as we can, and now it's more secure, and we wait to the switch. To switch ourselves from the defense to the attack, because we defend our people, and till now we collect their body.
And when you say you're going to attack, will you be going into Gaza itself? We can see it here. Look, it's on the horizon.
I look to the next 100 yards. This is
Did
my
you take
mission.
care of the next 100 yards?
Next 100 yards, and I fight to the next 100 yards, and then look forward.
Did anything in your career prepare you for what you saw here? I mean, we've come in and houses are blown apart.
So first of all, I prepare myself to everything, and yes, I have all the skills also, but I never saw, and I never imagined.
There was no mistranslation. Just soldier said it as clear as day in another interview. This is just propaganda. Wait, what? This is the POS that started the beheading rumor, by the way. Yeah, he said it to a fucking French journalist, to I-24. I think that's where the beheading stuff came from. But ultimately, children did die. I don't know what the fuck. Like what he's saying in this interview is correct. Okay. It does not matter that IDF lies all the fucking time. We know that they lie all the fucking time. But he is not lying here. It's ridiculous to say that this is a lie in and of itself. Okay? I don't know why people say this is a lie. First of all, part of the reason why I know this is not entirely untrue is because I saw the videos as well. Okay? The other reason why I'm saying that is because, yes, 1,000 Israelis were killed. Okay? And now, in retaliation to that, in the past couple of days, through a relentless bombing campaign, 700 Palestinians have been killed, murdered. Okay? I think people misunderstand my perspective when I analyze where this violence begins. And so far, yes, so far, it's over 800 now. Okay, so far, it is going to get much, much worse. But ultimately, the point remains, okay? Do you believe that when one side's babies are fucking blown up to bits by bombs, that is justifiable, okay? Or do you believe that neither is justifiable and there's only one way out of this cycle of violence and only one group has all the power to stop said violence? That's it. That's the question to ask. Not, I am a proud Israeli and you are so disgusting and fucking brainwashed, like what this guy is saying. That's so crazy, man. I'm brainwashed to say that what? Palestinian babies are being blown to bits at home? Like that's brainwashing? That's propaganda? Damn, how crazy. What's happening in Gaza right now? A tickle party? You think that's what's going on? Like how, or do you feel like maybe there's a semblance of humanity in you and you fucking recognize how gross and disgusting that is? So instead of just like meeting the reality and saying, yeah, this needs to stop, actually, even when it actually fucking serves your own purpose of wanting to live peacefully, okay? You refuse to recognize that the only way to end that violence is by ending the apartheid. You refuse to hear your own Israeli papers of record and Israeli organizations that tell you that that is the reality. You refuse, just like the Netanyahu far-right government, refuse to listen to its own internal security assessments from Shin Bet. How can you not see that seeing blood and seeing red in this circumstance is directly directly the cause of the original violence to begin with, and has been since the inception? It's crazy. Why did the Palestinians decline the offer of separate states 5 times? I love this question. Look to the West Bank right now. Look to the West Bank. Do you feel the Palestinians are free in the West Bank? Do you feel like that was a genuine offer? It's 5 times now. Tomorrow it'll be 10 times. Palestinians have declined 10 times. Palestinians have declined 100 times. Palestinians live under Israeli occupation in the West Bank every fucking day of their lives. Do you think that being fucking partitioned off and having a bunch of rabid, psychopathic settler terrorists, okay, control their lives, kill them, bully them, take their homes, have bulldozers come to their fucking houses and destroy it with the occupying force coming in and protecting those terrorist settlers is a peaceful coexistence? Is that what you think? Do you think that is a decent way to live? Do you think that Israel has made a genuine effort in allowing Palestinians to live? If that is the case, why do they have an open ethnic cleansing agenda in Jerusalem where they say we want to make Jerusalem 60% Jewish, which is like the mandate of the government? And also on top of that, have ethnic displacement measures in place in the West Bank, where if you are a Palestinian living in your family home in the West Bank, you fly away from the West Bank, you cannot come back in. But if you're from fucking Brooklyn, okay, if you're a Jewish guy living in Long Island, living in Brooklyn, living in Massachusetts, and you fucking fly to the West Bank, the government will give you a fucking house and will defend you? You think that that system is not a direct and open way to ethnically displace Palestinians from their own fucking homes? You think that that is just? That's peaceful coexistence for the Israeli state. What is true and what isn't true? How can we figure out what's going on? I've seen so many different reports of what's happening in Gaza with the hostages, and also hearing that it's all lies. I don't know what to believe about what Hamas is doing. You have to listen to what either party says, okay? Hamas's own communications has declared that the tactical reason as to why they took hostages was so that Israel would not bomb the Gaza Strip and that they could engage in a prisoner swap as they had done before. They did not think that the Israeli policy would be to declare the hostages as good as dead and choose to bomb areas where there might be Israeli hostages anyway. Here's another thing that's going on. The Israeli military is taking foreign press on tours of sites where Israelis were killed. Israeli media reported that only international outlets have been allowed to these government-sponsored tours. No local media has even been allowed to approach. Foreign press taken to towns where Israelis were slaughtered. Rocket fire persists. IDF is bringing international press to massacre sites near the border. They're not letting their own local press get there. At the same time, no foreign press are being allowed in the Gaza. And so, audiences in the West are constantly being fed constant images of their favorite reporters cowering on the ground to take cover from rockets being fired from Gaza. It's why we're seeing countless reports like this one, where journalists are regurgitating lines and talking points fed to them by the Israeli army about decapitated Israeli babies, claims that are going unchecked and unverified. Not only that, but you don't even see the fucking Palestinian side of the situation on the ground, because the remaining Palestinian journalists don't even have fucking access to the internet and are dying due to constant fucking shelling. By taking only foreign press into these sites and feeding them info, Israel is again taking control of the narrative on the international stage. Western journalists are more than happy to play along, failing to do basic due diligence in conveying these stories to their audiences. Because after all, nobody wants to be the fucking guy who's like, wait a minute, you're saying mass rapes have happened and hundreds of people have fucking died. Is it true that, is there any evidence on this? Like, can we investigate this a little bit further? No one can be that person in that situation. One, because there's no energy or no interest in that. And two, it doesn't matter because so much chaos has occurred already, whether there was a rape or not. So the non-outlets, the non-news media can go along with the racist canard of Muslim mass gang rapes occurring in Israel, as though they're doing tactical rapes or something. Okay? And then the media could at the very least say, we think that rape did happen here to this one person, and then retract it quietly, just like the Los Angeles Times did. But guess what? The fucking president repeated it. So it's over. And even if it was real or not real, it doesn't matter because it doesn't change the American perspective regardless. It doesn't even change and move the needle. It doesn't even change and move the needle. It is a likelihood that it could have happened. I am saying that. I've said that from the jump. There is an absolute likelihood that it could have happened. And yet I have seen zero verifiable evidence to it. This feels like a bit when extreme right-wingers pose the question. Yeah, the difference is I'm already condemning what has happened and moving beyond that to look for solutions as to how to stop the violence. Solutions that happen to align with even Zionist liberal outlets. An end to the occupation, an end to the apartheid regime, an end to the far-right Israeli politics that have gotten worse and worse internally for Israelis and certainly much worse externally for the Palestinians that have to live under Israeli rule. None of what I have said over the course of the past 3 days has been an endorsement, not a justification. It's not an endorsement. It is pure analysis. And not only that, but also it's due diligence, it's demanding due diligence from the fucking media. So much misinformation has spread so quickly. It's fucking crazy. And by not allowing local Hebrew-speaking media into certain areas, Israel is shielding itself from the criticisms and growing frustrations of a population that could easily eventually turn on the government for failing to protect them. That is what is going on. That is the other side of this. The Israeli media right now is literally more to the fucking left than Western media. Israeli Zionist media is more critical of the Israeli government right now than American media. Think about that. It's nuts, dude. Does Hamas not have any public platform where they can endorse or deny these claims? No, of course they do. They go on Al Jazeera, they speak. Nobody believes them. It doesn't matter. They still have the hostages. And even when I look to what Hamas's takes are, and I bring it up, everyone goes, oh, you're justifying what the fuck they're saying. Yeah, of course. Their take is, we have hostages specifically so that whatever violence you subject us to, they experience as well. If you blow a building and if you blow a building and an Israeli person is inside of that building, that person is going to die alongside the Palestinians. And it doesn't matter because Israel has decided, like I showed you, even 3 days ago, the immediate retaliation and reaction was, okay, those guys are as good as dead, okay? The far right was saying those Israeli hostages are basically dead. We have written them off. Okay? That is now a matter of official policy. Okay? They thought maybe the baby human shield thing wasn't working, so we might as well use the Israeli human shield technique, and Israel did not give a fuck. So then Hamas officials said yesterday that we will start executing hostages if you keep bombing, okay? It was a miscalculation on their behalf. A grave mistake. Okay, so Hamas is taking hostages to protect themselves. Why is Hamas killing civilians? Because they are irrational. They are not a rational force for like, they're not making this, they're not like, oh man, we sure did a tactical mistake, or this is a tactical misstep. They're breaking out of a concentration camp. They are irrational and reactionary, of course. And yet they are seen as the only thing the Palestinians have. When you treat someone like a cornered animal, eventually they will lash out. One important lesson here, in my opinion, is that perhaps organizations funded by Raytheon, Lockheed Martin, oil firms, Gulf dictators, and Western governments, as the Atlantic Council is, may not be genuinely committed to human rights. Here is a fellow at the Atlantic Council. Oh, I love this. Does anyone have the original post? Here's a fellow at the Atlantic Council who wrote a book about surveillance, openly stating that he sent screenshots of social media posts of asylum seekers of the FBI so they can get deported. Yeah, this guy wrote the book on like Uyghurs being genocided by China, only to literally tell the FBI to not let those Uyghurs seek asylum in America because they were supporting Palestine. Awesome stuff. I'm a leftist Israeli and I despise the government and where it brought us. It doesn't care at all about Jewish lives. If it did, it would end the occupation and give Palestinians equal rights. Exactly. We have no way of understanding how someone living in Gaza feels. You know what I mean? We just don't know. I live in Los Angeles, okay? The most oppression and cruelty I face is when my Uber delivery goes to the wrong house. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? Like, we have no way of comprehending this. Of course they're fucking radicalized every goddamn day. You're out of your goddamn mind if you think that you would be normal. Oh, here it is. Oh, so fucking good. When I wrote The Perfect Police State, I hope to help shine a light on the genocide that the world had overlooked, the largest internment of a people since the Holocaust. Now I write with deep disappointment of so many friends in the Muslim, Uyghur, Rohingya, in the Rohingya and Syrian refugee communities who stand with Hamas, praise the violence against Israeli civilians, and advocate for the genocide of the Jewish people from the river to the sea. That's always also funny. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Oh, that means genocide. Or, no, that means the people that live in that area will be free. You are the one who is dropping the genuine opinion that you have, which is that, like, Israel will never let these people be free. It can only mean a genocide in either direction. I love that is like legitimately a take that people have that is so strong that people legitimately believe it. They just believe it. They straight up believe it, and they think that is the case, and that's what that means. And there's nothing else there. He said last year the FBI contacted me to ask to give a talk about the Uyghur genocide and asked for advice on vetting refugee applications. They asked about how to identify spies, saboteurs, and terrorist sympathizers among the sea of legitimate asylum seekers. You should know better. For those of you who have open asylum applications, I have taken snapshots of your deplorable posts and advocating for the death of Israelis. I have sent them to my contacts at the FBI, whose job is to flag asylum candidates for special review and deportation proceedings. If you stand with terrorist violence and genocide, you're an enemy of the state.